This paddle really surprised me. Stay tuned and I'll tell you why. Welcome to Pickleball Journey. This is a review on the CX14 by Gearbox. We're gonna go into specs and price, performance, and then who's it for. All right, we're gonna jump right into the specs and the price real quick. The ounces is 8 ounces, 8.1 ounces is perfect, right in the middle. That's a weight that I love, not too heavy, not too light. The length of the grip is 5.58 inches, which is a lot longer than your usual paddle. So you can, for the people with two-handed backhands, that's a perfect length. The length of the paddle overall is 16.58 inches, which is a lot longer. So you're gonna have a lot more reach on the paddle. Talking about it later, there's gonna be a little bit more difficult with the sweet spot. The width of it, however, is 7.38 inches, which is a little bit thinner than usual. For this gearbox, it's actually thicker than they've ever made it at 14 millimeters. So it's actually one of their thicker ones, so you're gonna get a little bit more feel out of it. As it relates to the price, it's coming in at about $200. If you're interested in picking this up, we have a link in the description below to click on that and get that yourself. All right, we're gonna jump right into the performance of the CX14. We're gonna go over 4 things and we're gonna rate it from 1 to 3, 1 being the worst, 3 being the best. We're gonna go over power, we're gonna go over spin, control, and aesthetics, okay? So the first thing is the power. The power, I would say, is a 1. Compared to any other paddle, I feel like I get nothing out of this as it relates to the power. You know, I can still generate because I hit the ball decently hard, but compared to all the other paddles that I've tried, there's not a lot of power coming out of this. Part of the reason is because of their SST technology, which is a great technology. It makes the carbon fibers very tightly woven, and it's all one piece. So this is a very strong paddle. It's not gonna break on you. It has no rim to it. So if you want a paddle that lasts forever, get a gearbox, but I feel like with the power, it just doesn't deliver. It's a 1. So if you really want a control-oriented paddle, this is the one to go for you. So with that said, going into control is a 3 for me. It has a ton of control. I feel like I have control of the dings, the drops, everything. My defense is insane with this thing. I get a lot of good reach from the length of the paddle. As it relates to control, very good paddle, 3, top of the level. For spin, it's about, I would say it's a 2, middle of the range there, because I'm not getting the spin that I see from other grittier surfaces. It still has a decently gritty surface. You can still generate spin, but it's not the best spin I've ever seen in a paddle. And then the last thing, the aesthetics. The aesthetics are, this is the best job I think they've done on their paddles. You got the sleek black, you got a little bit of color. Love the look of the paddle. You're gonna look styling on the court with this thing. Great paddle, great looking paddle. So aesthetics, I would say a 3, awesome paddle. So the only thing I feel like is lacking is the power, but that could be a good thing for some people. All right, the last thing we're going to be talking about is who this paddle is for. The width on this paddle is very thin, like I said before, and the length is longer, so the sweet spot is not quite as big. So I noticed that if I ever hit it on the edge of it at all, I lost a ton of power. It's like a dead ball in the net right away. So unless you're a higher level player and you could really hit the middle of the paddle consistently, I wouldn't necessarily pick this paddle up. If you are and you are looking for control and not necessarily a ton of power, definitely go for this paddle. Tons of feel, tons of control. Love it a lot when it comes to that. Felt like I could hit my drops very well, my dinks really well, but when it comes to putting the ball away, hitting those fast speeds, a little more difficult, but I kind of like sacrificing that to get that control. So it just depends on if you hit the ball hard. And then also if you're looking for a high endurance paddle, this thing will not break. It feels good quality in the hand. It doesn't have that edge guard that might break off on you on some other paddles. If you've had paddles in the past that have broken, pick this up because it will not break on you. And the last thing, for players with two-handed backhands, it has a elongated grip, so you can easily fit 2 hands in there if you have that two-handed backhand. So you might look at something like this if you have that two-handed backhand. To sum up, you know, person with good contact, high-level player, needs control, not necessarily power, good feel, and then also is looking for a endurance paddle that's not going to break on you, and last thing, that two-handed backhand.